She don't play for the Fever yet. She want to get down with the get down. She see what's going on.
In today's sports world, there are two kinds of players who try to align themselves with a once-in-a-generation superstar. One is the smart veteran who sacrifices personal stats to support the team's main star and chase championships. The other is the clout seeker, who sees the fame, media attention, and sold-out arenas and tries to benefit from the superstar's spotlight for personal gain. Right now, the Indiana Fever are at the center of huge global attention, largely driven by Caitlin Clark and her massive impact. Because of this surge, many players are eager to join the team and gain exposure. However, while the Fever needs strong defensive support, they must be careful about who they bring in. The wrong personality in the locker room could damage team chemistry and disrupt the entire offensive system built around their star. Moreover, the roster-building process is unfolding under the looming threat of a potential league-wide lockout, with powerful figures like Adam Silver influencing the broader basketball landscape. This sets the stage for a deeper look into the WNBA free agency market and the reality behind the collective bargaining dynamics. To understand how chaotic the free agency period around the Indiana Fever has become, a revealing clip recently surfaced online. It shows a well-known 6'3" defensive forward, previously linked with teams like the Valkyries, openly expressing interest in joining the Fever. This is not an official trade request or a quiet signal through an agent. Instead, it appears to be a public attempt to create buzz by wearing team merchandise and shaping a media narrative, highlighting how strong the pull of the Caitlin Clark spotlight has become across the league.
I don't know what it is, Scrabble. I don't know what it is, but what she got on? She got on Indiana Fever merch. She don't play for the Fever yet. She want to get down with the get down. She see what's going on.
She clearly understands the situation, and from a tactical basketball perspective, this is the exact type of physical player the Indiana Fever need. At 6'3" and 185 pounds, she offers rim protection, perimeter switchability, and the toughness to set strong screens. In simple terms, she fits the role of a defensive enforcer. Throughout basketball history, elite offensive stars have always relied on physical enforcers for balance. Michael Jordan had support from players like Dennis Rodman, while Stephen Curry benefits from the defensive leadership and screen setting of Draymond Green. Similarly, Caitlin Clark faced heavy physical pressure and constant targeting during her rookie season, which highlights the need for a strong, physical teammate who can protect space, absorb contact, and bring defensive toughness on the floor. However, physical traits alone are only a small part of the equation. The bigger factor is mindset and team fit. The Fever front office cannot rely solely on height, strength, or rebounding stats. They must evaluate whether a player's mentality and role acceptance truly align with the team's long-term system. The front office also needs a strict psychological evaluation to understand a player's true motivation for joining Indianapolis. Are they coming to set screens, rebound, and support Caitlin Clark? Or are they chasing touches, personal fame, and a bigger spotlight? The league has already shown how things can go wrong when ego-driven players join star-focused teams and try to position themselves as the main attraction. That kind of mindset can disrupt structure and damage chemistry fast. The Indiana Fever cannot afford a scenario where a role player enters a high-speed offensive system and suddenly demands primary control, individual accolades, or a hero role on national stages. When a historically secondary option tries to become the centerpiece, the offensive flow breaks down, spacing shrinks, and the transition pace slows. Instead of an efficient, fast system built around their star guard, the team risks falling into stagnant, isolation basketball. Heavy basketball that leads to inconsistency and internal tension. Any player aiming to join the Fever must fully accept their role within a system centered on Clark. If they embrace a team-first mindset, playing smart, taking open shots, defending physically, and protecting their star teammates, then they become a valuable asset. But if a free agent focuses more on personal usage, branding, or MVP ambitions over team structure, that misalignment could harm both performance and long-term roster stability. Calling someone a parasite is an exaggeration, but the core idea is about protecting team balance. Even the most perfectly built roster around Caitlin Clark means little if larger league issues start affecting stability. Right now, while some players publicly show interest in the Indiana Fever, bigger concerns are being discussed across the league, especially around the upcoming collective bargaining agreement. The Players Association is pushing for higher revenue sharing, improved benefits like housing, and larger salary structures after a surge in attention and ratings. However, negotiations in professional sports are always driven by financial leverage and long-term sustainability. Team owners and the league structure ultimately control the economic framework, and the WNBA's relationship with the NBA adds another layer of influence. This is why comments from figures like Adam Silver carry weight, as decisions at that level are typically based on financial data, league growth projections, and business strategy, rather than short-term hype. In short, while roster construction and star-driven growth are important, the broader labor negotiations and economic realities of the league could have an even bigger impact on the WNBA's future than any single free agency move or team-building decision.
We're here and robbing us. We don't need no more of that, okay? We damn sure don't need no more Natasha Howard's coming over here talking about winning MVP, trying to bring the ball up the court, not giving it to Caitlin Clark.
Negotiations are reaching a critical stage, but no official deadline has been set. That usually signals a strategic, patient approach rather than urgency. Leaders like Adam Silver focus on financial stability, not emotion. The WNBA's structure is closely tied to the broader NBA system, so revenue sharing and salary demands depend on long-term sustainability, not just short-term rating spikes. In the end, the league's future will be decided by realistic financial agreements, not dramatic media narratives.
Perspectives on the current state of the CBA negotiations. He thinks it's unfortunate, as he said, where they are right now. He thinks they're getting close to the 11th hour. He has not yet set a drop-dead deadline date, and he said he's not ready.
The NBA does hold major influence over the WNBA's direction, and leaders like Adam Silver are involved in broader financial and negotiation dynamics behind the scenes. The league relies on NBA-backed infrastructure for media deals, operations, and long-term planning, which gives the NBA significant strategic leverage. Because the WNBA operates on tighter profit margins, large revenue-sharing demands and major salary jumps are difficult to justify purely from a financial standpoint. From a business perspective, decisions are based on sustainability, existing media contracts, and long-term growth, not just one season of increased attention around stars like Caitlin Clark. However, saying the league would simply shut down or that negotiations are being ignored is an extreme interpretation. Collective bargaining talks in professional sports are typically slow, calculated, and strategic. Both owners and the Players Association use leverage, timing, and public messaging as part of the negotiation process rather than rushing to drastic outcomes. In short, the power balance is complex. The NBA's structural support gives it influence, but the league's future will ultimately depend on compromise between ownership, league leadership, and the players' union, not on dramatic scenarios or short-term economic narratives. The players are trying to bluff their way to success, but Adam Silver, the casino manager, knows exactly what's in play. Meanwhile, dozens of athletes are clout-chasing on social media, flaunting Indiana Fever gear and chasing a chance to play alongside Caitlin Clark for financial gain. Yet the same players' union is stubbornly pushing the league toward a disastrous labor lockout that could destroy the sport's biggest economic opportunity. They want the Caitlin Clark money, but don't grasp the corporate mechanics needed to sustain it. If the union doesn't wake up, ditch radical advisors, and face the reality that Adam Silver won't bail them out, there will be no Fever roster, no primetime TV slots, no sold-out arenas. Players craving to join Caitlin Clark must realize their fight isn't just on the court, it's in the boardroom. Right now, they're losing badly to billionaires with unlimited patience and resources. Should the Indiana Fever sign these defensive enforcers chasing clout on social media, or is the risk to locker room chemistry too high? And more importantly, do you think Adam Silver is letting the WNBA Players Union implode just to prove a point about leverage and corporate power? Drop your unfiltered, analytical thoughts in the comments. For the brutal truth about the business, strategy, and financial politics of professional sports, hit subscribe, smash that like button, and turn on notifications. We don't do mainstream fluff. We follow the leverage, expose the accounting, and reveal the reality behind the press conferences. See you in the next breakdown.